All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier self hypnosis coach and your personal guide. So, the the theme, the topic for today's pod is um, it's actually quite interesting. I had momentarily forgotten the origin of where this word comes from. So if you've already seen the title, maybe you're watching this or listening to this on YouTube, on my YouTube podcast channel. So you've probably already seen the thumbnail. But of course, if you happen to be watching this live on Facebook as it's getting recorded, and maybe you didn't have time to actually see what's the theme, um, I'll keep the intrigue going for another second or two, and then I'll tell you what I'm talking about. But in essence, this word popped into my head, which is taking time to respawn, right? That's RESPAWN. And as I kind of, AI is my trusted assistant. So I was quite intrigued to be reminded actually that respawning is a term that comes from primarily comes from video games. Now, of course, growing up, I thankfully didn't get too drawn into the world of video games and RPGs and third-person shooters and stuff like that. So even though growing up, I had I guess I could call it a pretty normal childhood, but when it came to video games, somehow this would have been in I guess it would be the late 90s when I first got my computer. And this was when I was just about getting into my first year of MBA. And I remember watching, what was that? Doom, right? DOOM. And the graphics, obviously, this is like way ahead of its time. So the graphics invariably used to give me a headache. So luckily, I didn't get, um, sucked into that world of respawning. But if you think about it, um, and so all the avid gamers out there, as digital coaches, if this has been your other avatar, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you play a video game, you die in it, and then you are reborn, right? So typically that's where the word respawning comes from. But I think what's more important is that as digital coaches, um, every single day, every single moment, whether we are going into a sales call, whether we're going into um, some people call it discovery call, some people call it um, an orientation call. There are different names that we give it, but basically, when somebody has reached out, or somebody might be a potential client that we can work with and help. When we do that initial intake um, process, and we all have our own version of doing it, but in essence, every moment, whether it's like that, whether it is actually running a course, whether it is doing a masterclass, a webinar, a workshop, whatever it be, the more we are practicing our art, the more we are practicing our dedication to developing our skill, before, during, and after every such interaction that we're having with the outside world, outside our own minds, there's a lot of our um, ego that is actually dying, right? So, whatever we believe of ourselves before a session, and then what we're coming across during our session, and then, of course, uh, what we are noticing at the end of a session and also after a session, these are those moments that remind us, so much more of who we really are. And who we are not anymore, right? So maybe we were a certain way, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 6 years ago, even, or even beyond or before. And with every passing day, with every passing interaction, we are becoming more and more clearer, purer. And so there's a lot of sort of like the, you know, um, dying and rebirthing that's happening for us personally. And then, of course, in the work that we're doing. Now, this is, of course, regardless of whether, so I call it the 5 streams. So, regardless of whether you are a digital coach that focuses on health or wealth, relationships, spirituality, or even purpose for that matter, right? So, regardless of what your core area is, and a lot of us over a period of time, we tend to blend more than just one core area, one stream. It's the realization is that with all this, dying and rebirthing that's happening for us on a daily basis, it's also important to take time out. So today, like I genuinely felt like I had taken time out today, right? And today being Saturday at the time of recording. Of course, I'm now recording this at the end of the day. But I think what really was powerful for me as an experience today is that just doing, how do I put this? Doing very little, but allowing the mind to just, drift and float, whether that's, through meditation, through self-hypnosis, reflection, maybe, watching a movie or just, consuming content. Say, like I'm invariably on YouTube, right? And I love a lot of what the algorithm sends me. Sometimes it's things that I had never even thought of that exist, and then it's like it's fun going down that rabbit hole. But more importantly, just knowing that um, this day is literally like an open day, and then for me personally, so it's like you can say family day. It's a day of reflection. It's a day of like a way to reset, to clean house and reset. There was a time, very briefly, when I was in the events business, and again, very blessed to work with like a leading event agency, and so I got to see a lot in a short span of time. And of course, in my previous avatar in advertising, I had always, um, seen how an event is set up, what happens by the end of it. It's like getting your stuff done overnight and things like that. But more importantly, there is always that period of taking stuff out and then clearing the deck and putting back whatever is required. So to me, this experience of today was a great reminder of knowing that tomorrow is a quote unquote working day for me, but it's something that I'm really looking forward to now, because it's like I've just respawned today and I'm ready for tomorrow, right? Even though this is literally like the end of the day, uh, tomorrow is obviously several hours later, but I'm ready for it, right? So um, it just felt right to share this with you, and especially as a digital coach, if this is something that you've been wondering, it's like you already been uh, being a digital coach for some time. You may have started around COVID, you may have started before, but now, especially nowadays, a lot of what we're doing is using the power of digital, right? um, Not only AI, but more importantly, uh, being able to use this medium, for example, your Zoom, or whatever is your way to reach out. And it's so important to see what works for you, so that you can, as they say, clean the pipes, right? So that your flow will always keep uh, rising in its frequency. So like I said, if you're somebody who's been doing this for a while and you feel like you've kind of lost your way, uh, Trust me, I've been there. Like I said before, I've been doing this now for over 21 years. And I do know what it feels to be lost, what it feels to be sort of like, with just like drifting in the wind, not really knowing at times, not obviously every day of every year, but it's like at times where you kind of like lose your path. So, and also even in the recent years, even after learning like post COVID, being in webinars and things like that, maybe you've taken on, maybe you've invested in your not only your time but your money in tools and technology and mentors as well, but somehow it hasn't yet translated in your bank account, right? So when you look at your bank balance, you look at your bank account, you're like, why? Like, what am I missing? Like, I'm doing all the things that have been prescribed. I've bought all the courses, I've implemented, but somehow something is missing. And this is that phase where I can tell you from personal experience as well that if you actually say, okay, I've done all of those things which are external, now let me look at what's inside, right? Let me look at my self beliefs. So rather than trying to fix your negative self beliefs, what if, and here's a novel thought, right? What if I was to fix or let's say, what if I was to build powerful, positive self beliefs? Now, if that happens, here's something that will definitely shift for you, right? And again, it's how you're doing it, right? So I'm not talking about motivation or um, sort of being told what to do. I'm saying if you went on this discovery process, right, where you decided to build really powerful, positive self beliefs, I can promise you this: if you bathe your neurology with this good stuff, you will definitely notice that um, with time, you start to attract the right kind of clients, the right kind of people just show up, right? The right kind of collaborations just begin to happen. And it's happening in a way where you're not trying to force it or push it, right? So if this is something, like right now you're at a place where it's more like mera number kab aayega. You're looking around, you're seeing people who maybe started with you on, prior courses, and they've like, it seems like they've gone light years ahead, right? And so when you're looking at them, and this is part of the human condition, right? That there is that sense of envy, jealousy, doubt that, okay, what am I missing, right? Mera number kab aayega? And that's literally the reason why I've created this workshop. It's called Mera Number Kab Aayega. And this is a 60-minute workshop purely to help you at least start to address these questions, which means that, when you actually start to understand, one, what are some of these negative self-beliefs that you have about you, your business, money, what you're doing, what people think of you, your identity, even habits for that matter. And rather than trying to fix those, what if you build such powerful, powerful magnetic beliefs about you that make you feel good? So you wake up every morning feeling amazing. You believe in what you're doing. You start to notice that your community that you're a part of, that you're literally surrounding yourself with energy and attention, that creates the shift for you. So literally you're setting yourself to be in a space of effortlessness, right? So obviously it needs a first like a first point of contact. And that, like I said, is the reason why this workshop, Mera Number Ka Aayega, has been created. So this happens on Sunday at 11 a.m. Now, obviously, depending on when you are consuming this podcast, or even if you happen to be watching this as a video on Facebook, um, just remember it happens on Sunday at 11 a.m., right? And it's priced at less than 1,300. I think it's 1,200 and some rupees, right? In fact, let me tell you the exact number since we are right now talking about. Give me a moment. This is the power of actually doing. Yeah, it's 1225.32, right? So it's like a phone number, 1225.32. So basically, it's an opportunity for you to come be part of this 60-minute session. Definitely come with questions and see for yourself if this program really can do what it's designed to do, right? And again, like I said, it's been battle tested. Now if I look back, like the last 21 years is the reason why this program exists. And once you begin this process, you will then start to notice that self hypnosis can actually make that difference. Now again, rather than trying to make a tall claim, don't take my word for it. Come and test it out for yourself. It's like, it's like a test drive. So come and test it out for yourself and see if this connects with you, right? And if you feel this is something that you want to do more of, you want to learn more of, you want to be able to apply more of, you want a community that is there to support you in this process, that's what I've created, right? And so this is like literally like the line of least resistance. So start here, and then obviously I'll be there to, to help you along the way, to guide you and mentor you through this whole process if you feel that this is a match for you. So my intention is literally like, as the expression goes, from mera number kab aayega to life jingalala. That, and you'll see it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, this is all about an experience. It's not some theoretical, theorem construct that I'm throwing at you. Okay. So if you got to this point, I want to thank you, firstly, for getting to this point, to remembering that, something uh, made you want to click on the link and actually watch all the way to this point. And, when you literally allow yourself to open your mind to possibilities, you never know how, like, literally we all have that moment. It's like my life was like that, and then there was this inflection point, and then, as they say, the rest is history, right? So there was no looking back, right? That's the English expression. So I want to thank you once again, and I'm more than happy to hear from you in the form of comments if you have any topics that you want me to cover. And last but not the least, if there's any way in which I can help you, just send me a direct message um, on my socials, and I will definitely respond to it myself. So with that, of course, I will be back tomorrow for another daily pod or upload. So I want to thank you once again. And of course, as always, remember to live with purpose. Have a wonderful day. God bless. And see you in the next one.